neon lights of the diner glowed on the wet street. Rain slid down the windows in quiet lines. Inside, the room felt warm and bright. Emma wiped the counter with slow, tired moves. She had been on her feet since morning. Her green uniform was neat. Her smile was gentle, even when she was exhausted. She looked at the clock on the wall. Almost closing time. Only a few guests were still eating. An older man read a newspaper. A young couple shared a plate of fries. Then Emma heard it. A deep rolling sound outside. Motorcycles. Not one or two. Several at once. She walked to the window. Headlights cut through the rain. Large bikes pulled into the parking lot. Their chrome parts shone under the street lamps. The door opened with a soft ring. A tall man stepped in first. He wore a leather vest covered in patches. His gray beard reached his chest. His eyes were sharp but calm. On his vest, one name was stitched. Rider. Behind him, more riders entered. They filled the doorway with boots and jackets. Yet they were quiet and respectful. Then Emma saw the most important person. One rider carefully pushed a wheelchair inside. In the chair sat a little girl in a blue dress. She had light brown hair tied in a small ponytail. Her hands rested gently on her lap. A soft blanket covered her legs. The girl looked around with bright, curious eyes. Her body seemed stiff, but her gaze was full of life. Emma felt her heart soften. She walked forward with her menus. "Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Harbor Diner. How many are you tonight?" Ryder answered in a low voice. "We are 7. We also need space for the chair." "Of course. Right this way." Emma led them to the largest corner booth. She moved one chair aside so the wheelchair could fit. The riders sat down in a loose circle around the girl. Their leather vests and serious faces made them look tough. But every few seconds their eyes went back to the child. Emma placed menus on the table. She smiled at the girl. "And what is your name?" Ryder spoke with a softer tone. "This is my daughter. Her name is Grace. She understands a lot. She just needs extra help." Emma bent a little so she could see Grace clearly. "Hi, Grace. I am Emma. I am glad you came in tonight." Grace's eyes lit up. She could not speak many words. Still, Emma felt the girl's answer. Ryder cleared his throat. "Grace likes warm soup, mashed potatoes too, and a chocolate milkshake if you have it." "We have all of that." Emma wrote the order down. "I will ask the cook to make it soft and easy to eat. And for the rest of you." The riders ordered burgers, fries, and hot coffee. Their voices stayed low and polite. Back at the counter, Emma passed the order to the kitchen. While the food cooked, she watched the corner booth. Ryder adjusted the blanket on Grace's legs. Another rider fixed her small jacket. They spoke to her with patient smiles. The tough group looked more like gentle uncles and one tired father. The meals were ready. Emma carried the heavy tray to the booth. She placed the plates in front of each rider. Last, she set the soup and mashed potatoes in front of Grace. She noticed Ryder's quick glance at his own plate. He would need to help Grace eat. His food would turn cold. Emma remembered her younger brother at home. He also needed extra help at every meal. She felt the same pull in her heart. Ryder lifted the spoon and sighed. Emma spoke before he could start. "If you like, I can help feed Grace while you eat. I am used to this. We can take it slow." Ryder looked at her with surprise. "You sure? She needs time. You have work to do." Emma glanced around. Only a few guests remained. No one was in a hurry. "I am sure. Grace and I can be a team tonight." Grace stared at her with hopeful eyes. Ryder's shoulders relaxed. "Thank you, Emma. That would mean a lot." Emma pulled a chair next to Grace. She lifted a small spoon of soup. "Ready, Grace?" The girl opened her mouth a little. Emma placed the spoon carefully. She waited for Grace to swallow. "Great job. Do you like it?" Grace's eyes shone. Around them, the riders began to eat. For the first time that day, Ryder tasted his food while someone else helped his daughter. Emma kept a calm rhythm. One spoon, one pause, one kind word. As rain tapped softly on the glass, the little diner felt like a safe island. A young waitress, a quiet biker, and a brave girl shared a simple meal. None of them knew it yet, but this gentle moment would change all their lives. The diner grew quieter as the evening settled. Most guests had left, and only a few soft conversations filled the room. Emma stayed by Grace's side, offering small spoonfuls of soup and warm smiles between each bite. Ryder watched them with calm eyes. For the first time in days, his shoulders were not tight with worry. He ate slowly, still keeping an eye on his daughter, but he trusted Emma. Her patience made the moment gentle and steady. Grace finished a spoon of mashed potatoes, then looked at Emma with a small spark of joy. Emma smiled back. "You are doing great, Grace. Ready for another?" Grace nodded in her own quiet way. Ryder set down his fork. "Thank you, Emma. You make this look simple." Emma shook her head. "It is not hard. It just takes time. Grace deserves the same care as anyone else." The Ryders around the table nodded. Their serious faces softened as they watched the calm scene. Tank spoke with a friendly tone. "Not many people understand the way you do." Emma replied softly. "Everyone needs kindness. We all have our own challenges." A soft sound came from the counter. The manager, Carl, had stepped out from the back room. He looked around with a busy expression. "Emma, can you check table 7? Emma glanced around. There was no table 7. She answered politely. "Carl, I am helping Grace finish her meal. I will go in a moment." Carl frowned. "We need to stay focused. Guests want quick service. Please keep moving." Ryder watched the short exchange. He stayed quiet but alert. Emma kept her voice gentle. "I understand, but Grace needs steady help right now. It will only take a little longer." Carl let out a breath. He did not raise his voice, but he looked frustrated. "Fine, just do not take too long." He walked back to the kitchen. The room remained peaceful, but Emma felt a small knot in her chest. She did not want conflict. She only wanted to help. Ryder leaned forward a little. "You okay?" Emma nodded. "It is all right. Sometimes people do not see the full picture. They do not understand how long this takes." Ryder gave a thoughtful nod. He knew that feeling well. Grace finished the last spoon of soup. Emma wiped her mouth gently with a soft napkin. "All done, Grace. You were amazing. I am proud of you." Grace smiled with a warm glow in her eyes. Her simple happiness filled the whole corner of the diner. Tank laughed quietly. "She likes you, Emma." Emma looked at Grace with affection. "I like her too. She is bright and strong." Ryder's voice carried quiet gratitude. People do not always see that. Emma met his eyes. Everyone deserves to be seen. Grace reached her hand toward Emma, as if she wanted to hold on to the moment a little longer. Emma gently placed her hand over Grace's. Ryder watched them with deep emotion. It was clear that he had spent many days carrying heavy responsibility alone. Tonight felt different. Emma stood and gathered the empty plates. "I will take these to the kitchen. You all relax." She carried the dishes away. The Ryders talked softly while she walked back, their voices filled with warmth and relief. When Emma returned, she checked on Grace once more. Ryder looked at her with quiet appreciation. "You gave my daughter a peaceful meal. I cannot thank you enough." Emma shook her head. "You do not need to thank me. Grace made my night better. She reminded me why I love this job." Ryder held her gaze for a moment. His voice was steady. "You have a kind heart. Not everyone uses theirs." Emma felt her chest warm at the simple truth in his words. Outside, the rain began to slow. The neon sign reflected on the wet ground, soft and glowing. Inside the diner, a small moment of kindness connected strangers. A tired father felt supported. A young girl felt understood. And a waitress discovered that even small actions could change someone's evening. None of them knew how much this moment would matter. But kindness has a way of returning. And tonight, it began quietly, with soup, a smile, and a shared sense of dignity. The diner grew quieter as the night moved on. Most tables were empty now, and the warm lights reflected softly on the clean floors. Emma brought napkins to the corner booth and found Grace resting with a calm smile. Ryder looked more relaxed than before. His voice was steady when he spoke. "Thank you again, Emma. Tonight felt different for her. For all of us. Emma smiled. She touched Grace's hand gently. I am happy she enjoyed her meal. She is a joy to be around. Grace responded with bright eyes. She leaned slightly toward Emma, showing trust and comfort. The other riders finished their food and pushed their plates aside. They spoke in quiet tones. Their faces looked firm, but there was warmth in their eyes as they watched Emma and Grace. Tank said softly, not many people take time to understand her needs. Most rush or step back. You stepped in. Emma shook her head. I only did what felt right. Everyone deserves patience. Ryder looked at her with sincere gratitude. You showed respect. That means more than you know. Just then, the diner door opened. A small group entered. They laughed loudly and moved to a booth near the riders. They were not rude, but they carried an energy that felt out of place in the quiet room. Emma walked over with her usual calm smile. Welcome. What can I get for you tonight? They ordered quickly. Everything seemed fine. But as Emma turned to leave, one of them glanced at Grace's wheelchair with a puzzled look. He said nothing unkind, but the look lingered a little too long. Grace noticed. Her eyes dropped. Her shoulders tensed. Emma saw the change. She walked back to her with a warm smile. Hey Grace, you did amazing tonight. You are strong and bright. Do not forget that. Grace lifted her eyes again. The spark returned. Ryder watched Emma's calm approach. He nodded with appreciation. Emma went to prepare the new table's order. Ryder leaned toward Grace. She sees you. She understands you. That is rare. A few minutes later, Emma returned with drinks for the new guests. She placed the glasses down and kept her voice steady and kind. Here you go. If you need anything else, just let me know. As she walked away, she heard one of the riders whisper to Grace, You have a friend here. A good one. Grace smiled again. It was small but full of hope. Emma returned to the counter to finish her tasks. Carl walked by and gave her a quick glance. He seemed in a rush and focused on closing the register. He said, Emma, try to finish soon. We are almost done for the night. His tone was not harsh, but it was tight and impatient. Emma nodded. Of course. She returned to the corner booth and checked on Grace one more time. She fixed the blanket on her lap and made sure her seat was comfortable. Ryder said, You have a calm way. Grace needs that. Thank you. Emma smiled. She touched Grace's shoulder with care. She is wonderful. You are doing a great job with her. Ryder looked down for a moment. He breathed out slowly. Some days are hard, but moments like this help. The rain outside had stopped. The road glistened under the street lamps. The diner felt like a safe place in the middle of the quiet night. Emma began clearing the table. As she moved, she noticed something touching. Grace kept watching her with gentle admiration. Emma said softly, I will be right back. She walked toward the kitchen window to return the dishes. When she came back, she saw Ryder helping Grace adjust her jacket. The rider stood and prepared to leave. Ryder looked at Emma. We should get going. Thank you for everything tonight. Emma nodded. Travel safe. And Grace, you made my whole evening better. Grace lifted her hand a little. Emma gently held it for a moment. They shared a warm, quiet connection. Ryder placed a small card on the table. If you ever need anything, call this number. We do not forget kindness. Emma picked up the card and looked at it. Thank you. That means a lot. Ryder smiled softly. Family comes in many forms. Tonight you were part of ours. The riders helped Grace out the door. Emma stood by the window and watched them walk into the dim light. They loaded the wheelchair gently into the sidecar. They moved with care, patience, and unity. The motorcycles started one by one. Their lights reflected across the wet road. Grace waved from her seat. Emma waved back with a warm heart. The group rode off together. The night grew quiet again. Emma held the small card in her hand. She felt grateful, hopeful, and changed. She knew this was not the end of their story. Kindness always finds a way to return. The next morning felt quiet in a different way. Emma sat at her small kitchen table with a warm cup of tea. She thought about Grace's smile from the night before. She thought about Ryder's kind words. It felt like something meaningful had happened, even if she could not explain it yet. At work, the diner opened with its usual routine. The lights flickered on. The coffee machine hummed. Carl walked around with his clipboard. Emma tied her apron and tried to focus on the day ahead. For the first hour, everything stayed calm. A few travelers came in. A family ordered pancakes. Emma moved with her gentle pace, welcoming guests with simple kindness. But as the lunch hour approached, a familiar sound echoed outside. Motorcycles. Not many, just 3 this time. Emma looked up. Ryder stepped inside, holding the door for Grace and 2 riders. Grace wore a soft pink sweater and smiled when she saw Emma. Emma greeted them with warmth. "Welcome back. Good to see all of you." Grace lifted her hand a little to show that she remembered Emma. Emma knelt beside her. "I am happy you are here. Are you ready for your favorite meal again?" Grace nodded with bright eyes. Ryder smiled. She asked to come here the moment she woke up. This place made her feel safe. Emma felt touched. She led them to the same booth as last night. She brought menus, though she already knew their usual orders. Ryder said, "We will have the same. Soup for Grace. And the rest of us will take our usual plates." Emma wrote it down. "Coming right up." But as she walked away, Carl called her from behind the counter. "Emma, come here a moment." She turned to him. "Yes." Carl lowered his voice. "I need you to hurry with the other tables. They need attention. Try not to spend too much time at one booth." Emma nodded politely. "I will manage. Grace needs help eating, so I will check on everyone in turns." Carl sighed. "Just make sure you stay balanced. We have to keep the flow steady." Emma kept her tone calm. "I understand." She delivered drinks to a nearby table, then returned to Grace with her soup. She set the bowl down and smiled. "Here we go. Warm and ready." Grace opened her mouth slightly for the first spoonful. Emma fed her with the same patience and care as before. Ryder watched with quiet relief. He could focus on his own meal again. His face softened as he took a warm bite of food. Emma moved between tables with an easy rhythm. A refill here, a check-in there, then back to Grace for another spoon. Everything felt balanced. Everything felt peaceful. But then a new group walked in. They sat in a booth near the front window. They were friendly but loud, and they ordered quickly. Emma greeted them. "Welcome. What would you like today?" They gave their order with cheerful smiles. One of them glanced toward Ryder's booth. Not in a rude way, just curious and unsure. Emma returned to the corner booth and helped Grace with a small sip of her milkshake. Grace smiled with simple joy. Then Carl appeared again. He looked stressed. "Emma, I need you to move faster. We are getting busy." Emma stayed calm. "I am keeping up. Grace only needs a moment more." Carl ran a hand through his hair. "I know you want to help, but we have timing to follow. Please do not slow down the pace." Emma felt a soft ache in her chest. She never wanted to create tension. She only wanted Grace to enjoy a simple meal with comfort. Ryder noticed Carl's tone. He leaned forward slightly. "Everything all right?" Emma nodded. "Yes, we are fine." Grace looked between them, sensing the shift. Emma placed a gentle hand over hers. "It is okay. We are all good." Carl walked back toward the register. He seemed more focused on numbers than on the atmosphere. Emma continued serving guests. She kept each step steady and calm. Yet her mind felt heavy. She did not like the feeling of being pulled away from Grace when the girl needed support. Ryder watched her closely. He could see the effort she put into the room. Her kindness reached every table. When the meals were finished, Ryder placed his fork down. "Emma." "Yes. Thank you again. You handle everything with grace." Not many could do that under pressure. Emma smiled. "I only do what feels right. Helping others matters to me." Ryder nodded. "You made this place feel warm for my daughter. That means more than you know." The riders agreed with soft smiles. Grace lifted her hand toward Emma again. A quiet invitation. Emma held her hand for a moment and felt a gentle peace. "You made my day brighter too, Grace." As the group prepared to leave, Ryder placed a simple envelope on the table. "This is for you. Not as payment, As a thank you for treating my daughter with dignity. Emma shook her head. I cannot accept anything. Kindness is not a service. Ryder spoke with a quiet firmness. It is not payment. It is appreciation. A reminder that good actions matter. Emma hesitated for a moment, then accepted with a humbled heart. The group walked out into the bright afternoon light. Emma watched them through the window. Grace waved from her seat with a small, joyful smile. Inside, the diner felt calm again. Emma returned to her tasks. She felt proud, hopeful, and a little changed. She did not know what the future held. But one thing was clear. Kindness connected people in ways she never expected. The sun was bright the next morning, and the diner opened with its usual warm glow. Emma arrived early. She set up tables, filled the coffee pots, and checked the clean plates. But her mind kept drifting to Grace and Ryder. Their kindness had left a quiet mark on her heart. She wiped the counter when she heard footsteps behind her. Carl walked in with his clipboard. He checked numbers and schedules with a serious face. Emma asked, "Do you need help with anything?" Carl shook his head. "Just keep the pace steady today. We expect more guests." Emma nodded with calm agreement. She always tried to keep things smooth. As the morning moved on, the diner filled quickly. A family ate breakfast in the corner. A group of travelers chatted near the window. Emma moved from table to table with gentle steps. Then the bell above the door rang again. Emma looked up. Ryder walked in with Grace and 3 riders by his side. Grace wore a light yellow dress. Her smile lit up the room. Emma's heart warmed. She walked over instantly. "Welcome back. It is so good to see you both." Grace lifted her hand in a tiny wave. Emma laughed softly. "I missed you too." Ryder smiled. "She kept asking about you all morning, so we came early." Emma guided them to their usual booth. She adjusted the space for the wheelchair, making sure Grace felt comfortable. She brought menus even though she knew their favorites by memory. Ryder said, "Same meals as before. Grace wants her soup." Emma wrote it down. "I will bring it as soon as it is ready." The diner was busier now, but Emma balanced each task with calm care. She served coffee to the travelers. She brought pancakes to the family in the corner. Then she returned to Grace and helped her with her meal, spoon by spoon. Grace ate slowly. Her smile grew with each gentle bite. Emma spoke to her in soft, reassuring tones. The riders watched with appreciation in their eyes. Tank leaned forward. "Emma, you have a gift with people." Emma shook her head. "I only treat others the way I wish someone would treat my own family." Ryder looked up. "You give more than you think." But the peaceful moment shifted when Carl approached the table. He had a polite smile, but it felt tight. "Emma, can I see you for a second?" She excused herself politely and followed him a few steps away. Carl lowered his voice. "I need you to focus on the other tables more. We have many guests waiting." Emma nodded. "I understand. I am helping Grace, but I am also checking on the others." Carl sighed. "It is not about that. Some guests feel uncomfortable when they see you spend too much time at one booth. We need to keep things balanced." Emma felt a small pinch in her chest. She spoke gently. "Grace needs support to eat. It only takes a few moments at a time." Carl replied, "I know, but we have to think about the overall flow. Please adjust your pace." He walked away before she could respond. Emma took a slow breath. She did not want conflict or tension. She only wanted Grace to enjoy her meal safely. She returned to the booth. Ryder's eyes followed her, sensing something was off. "Everything okay?" Emma nodded softly. "Yes, just a busy day." Grace looked at her with quiet concern. Emma smiled and placed a gentle hand over hers. "You are doing great. I am right here." They continued the meal with peace. Grace finished her soup. Emma helped her sip a little water. The riders finished their plates. When the meal was over, Ryder placed his napkin aside and looked at Emma with steady sincerity. "You care for people in a way that brings calm. Grace feels safe with you. We are grateful." Emma lowered her gaze. "Thank you. Your words mean a lot." Tank added with a warm smile, "You make this place feel brighter." Emma blushed. I just try to do my best. Ryder reached into his vest and placed a simple folded paper on the table. What is this? Emma asked. Ryder said, a small thank you from all of us. Not payment. Not a reward. Appreciation. Emma hesitated. I cannot take anything for helping someone. Kindness does not need a return. Ryder spoke gently. It is not for the kindness you gave. It is so you can have support too. Everyone deserves that. Emma's eyes softened. She took the paper slowly. Her voice was calm. Thank you. I will keep it. Grace reached for Emma's hand again, and Emma held it with a warm smile. You made my day, Grace. Come back soon. Ryder stood and helped the riders get ready to leave. They moved with ease and unity. Grace waved from her chair on the way out. Emma waved back with a full heart. As the door closed behind them, the diner felt brighter, even in the rush of the day. Emma held the folded paper in her hand. She did not open it yet. She just felt its quiet meaning. Kindness had connected their lives. And deep inside, she knew their story was far from over. The next week arrived with clear skies and a quiet morning breeze. Emma walked toward the diner with steady steps. She felt hopeful, but she also felt a small weight inside her chest. She still remembered Carl's tone and the pressure from the past few days. She loved helping people, but she wondered if she still belonged here. When she reached the door, she paused. Across the parking lot, she saw Ryder's motorcycle pull in. Behind him came several riders, moving in a calm, steady line. Grace rode in her chair, secured gently to the sidecar. Her bright eyes searched the diner windows until she found Emma. Emma opened the door with a smile. Welcome back. It is a good day to see you. Grace lifted her hand with excitement. Ryder smiled with warmth. She insisted we come early today. She missed her friend. Emma knelt beside Grace. I missed you too. Are you ready for breakfast? Grace nodded. Her joy filled the moment with light. Ryder and the riders settled into their usual booth. Emma adjusted the space, making sure Grace was comfortable. She brought menus and set them down gently. Ryder ordered, soup for Grace. The rest of us will take our regular meals. Emma wrote it down and stepped into the kitchen. But as she returned, Carl called her with a serious tone. Emma, we need to talk before the rush starts. Emma turned to him. Yes, what is it? Carl looked thoughtful. He was not upset this time. He seemed unsure, almost nervous. He said, I watched you these past days. You care for that little girl with real heart. And you still take care of every table here. I was too strict. I should have handled things better. Emma blinked in surprise. Thank you. That means a lot to hear. Carl continued. I realized something. This place needs kindness more than speed. Guests remember how we make them feel, not how fast we drop off a plate. Emma smiled softly. I appreciate that. Grace brings out the best in people. I only try to support her. Carl nodded. Then keep doing that. And I will support you too. Emma felt relief rise in her chest. For the first time in days, she felt understood. She walked back to Ryder's booth with a calm heart. She helped Grace take her first spoonful of warm soup. Grace smiled, relaxed and happy. Ryder watched the scene with gentle pride. Emma, you bring peace to her days. Thank you for that. Emma shook her head. She brings peace to mine too. The riders agreed with soft nods. After the meal, Ryder reached into his vest and pulled out something new. It was a small folded letter. Emma looked curious. What is this? Ryder handed it to her. A little something from all of us. Open it when you have a quiet moment. Emma held the letter close. Thank you. I will. Grace reached for Emma's hand. Emma leaned close. You always make this place brighter. Grace smiled with pure joy. The riders prepared to leave. Their movements were slow and gentle around Grace. Emma watched them roll the wheelchair toward the door. The bond between them felt strong and inspiring. As they stepped outside, Emma followed. The morning sun hit the pavement in golden waves. Ryder turned to her. We are planning something. We want to do a community ride next week. Something hopeful. Something that brings people together. We want you there. Grace wants you there too. Emma felt her heart swell. I would be honored. Thank you. Ryder nodded. Then it is settled. Grace waved again from her chair as the riders prepared to leave. Emma waved back with a warm smile. The motorcycle started, but their sound was calm and steady. Not loud, not harsh, just peaceful. As they rolled away, Emma felt a deep sense of connection. She walked back inside the diner, holding the letter Ryder had given her. During a quiet break, she opened it carefully. Inside was a simple message written in clear handwriting. Thank you for seeing Grace with kindness. Thank you for giving her dignity. Thank you for giving us hope. You will always have a place with us. Signed, the Ryders. Emma pressed the letter to her chest. Tears filled her eyes, but they were soft and grateful. She read it again and again. Each word felt like a warm hand on her heart. Later that day, as the sun began to set, Emma stepped outside the diner. She looked at the sky. The colors were gentle and calm. She smiled. Kindness had started a new path. Ryder's family had become part of her life. Grace's smile had changed her days. And now, Emma felt something she had not felt in a long time. Hope, pure, simple, steady. She whispered to herself, kindness returns when you least expect it. Their story had started with one small meal. Now it was a bond, a friendship, a reminder that gentle moments can shape everything. Emma stepped back inside, ready for whatever came next.